The women are the pawns of those Spartan dogs. They have betrayed us and for no cause. Without sex, what will happen to our great state? Democracy will end if we can't copulate. This line is sung by the chorus of men in Lysistrata, a Greek comedy by the Athenian playwright Aristophanes. Written in 411 BCE, the play's premise is that the women of Athens, led by Lysistrata, work together to ban sexual intercourse until their husbands agree to stop fighting the war with Sparta. The women succeed in ending the war, but only after several debates with the men over who really bears its cost. Is it the men who go to die on the battlefield, or is it the women and families they leave behind? There is substantial debate over how the play might have been received by Athenians at the time. Some have interpreted Lysistrata as empowering to women because of how the play reverses societal roles. In taking over the Acropolis, a symbol of Athenian power and politics, the women of Lysistrata demonstrate their capacity to lead. By contrast, the men are ridiculed for their lack of self-control in the face of sexual deprivation. That said, as the historian Mary Beard points out, Lysistrata probably wasn't created for women at all. It was likely performed to an audience of men by men wearing costumes to make them look like women. Additionally, although Lysistrata herself is capable, the women she leads are often lazy and aloof, skipping her meetings to do tasks like airing the fabrics. Furthermore, after the women of Athens succeed in helping to end the war, the men resume control, suggesting that the entire concept of women in power was temporary, chaotic, and easy to ridicule. In the context of other plays by Aristophanes featuring women at the center, Mary Beard's interpretation would make sense. Aristophanes' 391 BCE comedy Assemblywomen focuses on what would happen if the women of Athens assumed power. Instead of being a genuine exploration of the implications of such a society, Aristophanes largely focuses on how absurd this concept would be, poking fun at Athenian politicians at the time for being basically indistinguishable from women. But this dichotomy is precisely what makes modern-day interpretations of Lysistrata so interesting. Lysistrata has inspired numerous theatric adaptations, from a ballet to an operetta to the Broadway musical Lysistrata Jones, which switches out the Peloponnesian War for a basketball game and Athens for a university. Aristophanes' text has also been referenced in headlines relating to actual political movements. This tweet by actress Alyssa Milano prompted #Lysistrata to start trending on Twitter. What I find most interesting is how Lysistrata has been applied to new contexts that reinterpret the role of women within the play. That's particularly clear in director Spike Lee's 2015 film Chirac.
We force our men to negotiate peace by exercising conscious self-control and total abstinence from knocking the boots.
In Chirac, Lee reimagines Lysistrata in modern-day Chicago, where gun violence, instead of war, is the source of widespread devastation and the cause of the women's sex strike. At the end of the film, the women succeed in preventing bloodshed, at least temporarily, by convincing the mayor of Chicago to sign a deal to build new hospitals. That's a stark contrast to the ending of Aristophanes' play, where, in the final scene, a naked woman is used as a map of Greece and, as Mary Beard writes, metaphorically carved up in an uncomfortably pornographic way. Although Spike Lee refuses the label of a feminist film for Chirac, that hasn't stopped journalists from giving the film that title. And his characters in modern-day Chicago seem to reflect a very different understanding of what exactly women in power look like.
And you want to sit here and talk about how women behave? Fool, we trying to free these slaves.
So the question remains, was Lysistrata an early feminist character who mobilized women for the sake of the nation, or was she simply a misogynistic tool used to poke fun at the idea of women being powerless, with sexuality as their only avenue to a voice? I'll leave that judgment up to you, but regardless, it's clear that Lysistrata retains its relevance today, taking on new context to tackle its themes. To me, Lysistrata's ambivalence across time is a reflection of the complexity of female leadership. In many ways, its modern-day interpretations are a model for how we can rethink narratives around female leadership to allow women to take ownership over their themes. That's crucial because if we fail to do so, dated narratives will continue to guide the clear gender biases and structural barriers which exist for women competing for positions of power.